we will cover first of all the loops with dictionaries. We saw that how we can loops over the list, right? And then we will cover uh, continue and break. There are two keywords quickly we can cover. How can we use them, okay, within the loops? And then we have list comprehensions. Then we will also cover today exception handling. Okay. If time permits, we will also cover how to work with files. Working with files in your system. Okay. So what we will do, I will cover these three topics. After that, we'll take any doubts. Okay. So this will cover loop parts of thing. List comprehension is also kind of loops. So then we will take doubt session, and after that, I will cover these two and then take doubt session. Okay, or maybe exception handling we can take and then take doubts and then this one. Okay, so let's start for today. So now what I'm going to do is, so we learned the loop on the list basically, right? So if I have to run the, so if you are confused about while loop, just forget about it. Just focus on for loop. Okay, maybe during the weekend doubt session, we can discuss about the while loop more, but focus on for loop. Most of the times, 95% of the times you will be using the for loop and it is very easy. Okay. Again, I'll write a quick loop. So for example, if I have to loop through this list, I just have to say for team in IPL colon print team, right? So team is a new variable or automatically Python will create, and what it will do, it will iterate over this list. So first element is CSK. So CSK value will go into this team variable. It is like team equal to CSK happening internally. We are not doing, Python is doing it. So it is doing team equal to CSK, right? For the first iteration and printing team, right? Similarly, then second iteration, it will assign MI. So it will override. So now team equal to MI. Now again, I print it. So it will print MI, right? So this is how for loop works, right? So control enter, and this is it. Okay. Now let's run the loop on the dictionary. So just comment it and comment. Okay. You can press control forward slash for commenting and uncommented. So if I press control forward slash, everything is commented. If I again press control forward slash, everything is uncommented, whatever I select. Okay. So now let's run loop over it. So it is same IPL, and I have key value pair CSK, Chennai Super King, MI, Mumbai Indians. And then I'm running this in the same fashion. I'm running the loop for team in IPL within team. And let's say what happens. Okay, so if you see, only the key, whatever is the keys are printed, right? CSK is printed, MI is printed, values are not printed. So when you loop over a dictionary, by default, it takes the key value, whatever is the key, and assign it to team variable. So again, same will happen. It will go to the first element, check the key, and assign this team variable as CSK, right? And CSK will be printed. In the second iteration, it will pick MI and MI will be printed, right? Now, what if I want to print values as well? Simple, right? So I can just say print and then IPL, right? How do I access the elements of a dictionary? I pass the key. What is the key? For the first iteration, key is CSK. So I will just pass the team here, right? So if I do this, so let's go over it. So for the first iteration, team equal to CSK, right? And what is IPL team? IPL team, right? So IPL team is CSK. So it will pass CSK here. And this will give me the value. So that is how I access the value of a dictionary, right? To the dictionary name, I pass the value, the whatever is the key, and it will give me the value, right? So if I run this now, the key will be printed and the corresponding value will be printed. So if you see, CSK is printed because this is the key. And then I'm saying what is the value of this key. So I'm passing team in the IPL dictionary, and that's it. Chennai Super Kings, right? Similarly for MI. Okay. This is one way of doing it. There is another better way of doing it. So if you have done the assignments, there is a concept of unpacking, right? So for example, if I have a list, let's say list or tuple, anything, right? Let's say tuple. If I have a tuple and it has two values. So again, let's take this example. It works for list as well. So let's say I have this. Okay. So now if I want to access, I want to put these values, right, in a different variables. What I have to do? I will set team1 equal to CSK or IPL 0. I will say IPL 0, right? And team 2 equal to IPL 1, right? This is how I will put. If I have to put each value in a different variable, I can do like this, right? And this is absolutely fine. So in team 1, I will have CSK, and team 2, I will have MI. But I can do a direct assignment as well. So I can say that instead of all this, I'll just copy this and say team 1 comma team 2 equal to CSK comma MI. I can directly do this as well. So if I done this now and again check team 1 and team 2, right? So this is also known as unpacking. I'm unpacking the couple, or it works for list as well, into a variables, right? So this is a cool way of doing it. The only thing is the number of elements here and the number of variables should be same. If they are 3, then it should be 3. Otherwise, it will give you error that it is not matching, right? Now, this concept we can use while looping over the dictionaries. Okay, I'll show you how. So let's remove this. I'll comment this for now. So now in the dictionaries, if you look at the dictionary, we have the IPL dictionary. Let's make it again. Okay. And now there is a method which is called items. So if I say IPL dot items, right, and just print this. You see, we have a dictionary key value pair, right, in tuples, right? So this is the first element. So this is a dictionary items. The first element is kind of a tuple which has a key and the value. CSK Chennai Super Kings, MI Mumbai Indians, right? Now what we can do, instead of writing team and value separately, we can write like this. For team, comma, name in IPL dot items, right? Print team and print name. Okay. So what is happening is it is iterating through the each item of this. This is kind of dictionary items. Okay. For the first iteration, it will assign CSK to team and Chennai Super Kings to name directly. So instead of accessing team and then accessing the value of that key separately, we can directly assign team name in IPL.items, right? So when I print now, for the first iteration, in the team variable, CSK will go, and the name variable, Chennai Super Kings. For the second iteration, in the team variable, MI will go, and in the name variable, Mumbai Indians will. Right. So it is the same thing. Basically, whatever we are doing here, same thing we are doing here, but it is a more convenient way of doing it. Okay. There is no performance thing or something, but it is more convenient. You don't have to again call the dictionary and pass the key. You can directly do it.
Ankit, what exactly items function here is doing?
Yeah, that's what we printed, right? This. So our dictionary is this key value pair, right? So it is converting into another kind of data structure which is called dict items. We won't be using it much, only for here, and it is converting this key value pair in a, you can say, tuple list of tuples, right? It is kind of a list. It is not exactly list of tuples, but you can consider it as it is a list, right? And each element of that is a tuple, and that tuple is nothing but there are two elements. One is key of the dictionary and one is value. and we are able to iterate over it. That's it. Okay, great.
Yeah, Ankit, so are dictionaries mutable?
Yes.
So, but if we use this dictatum method, then the mutability will not be there, right?
We are not in the sense changing the dictionary,
Yeah, yeah.
right? We are just to iterate over it. We are changing the data
Got it.
structure, right?
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, dictionary is as it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So this is about dictionary, how to loop over it. Okay, again, if you have nested dictionary, you can write for loop within a for loop. In the assignments, we will get all of these and you can practice it. Okay. This is about running loops on dictionaries. Okay. Now let's understand what are continue and break. Okay. Let me write a for loop again. So I will comment it out everything. Let's take this. Okay. So this is my that's a list, and let's add one more element here. Now let me run a loop again for the in IPL rank team. Okay. Now what I want is uh, okay, I did not run this one. Okay. Now what I want is I'm running a program, I'm writing a program, and my requirement is the moment I see the MI, right? I don't want to run loop further, right? For this list, I'm doing some work in my follow, whatever work, but I want to work till I find the MI, and after that, I don't want to do anything, right? So based on certain conditions, I want to stop my loop in between, right? So this list has, let's say, 10 elements. Now I have some condition that if that condition is coming, I want to just stop the loop then and there, right? I don't want to run for all the variables, all the elements in the list, right? So that's where comes into picture. What I can say is print team, and then I say if team equal to mi, okay, then I will say break. Okay. So what it will do, it will it will go to the first element CSK and print team, right? It will check if team equal to mi, no. So it will continue. It will not go inside this, right? Then it will pick mi, right? And again it is going to print team. It will print. It will check team equal to mi, yes. Then it will break and KKR. It will just stop the loop then and there. It will not go to the KKR element. So let's run this. You see, CSK is printed, MI is printed, but KKR is not printed. Why? Because the moment it finds MI, it is just breaking the loop. It will not go further. Okay. Now, similar to break, we have a continue as well. So let me do one thing here. I'll just
One small
print.
bit here, like if you write that print statement in 31 line, will it print mi?
No, it will break here only.
Okay, so
So
only
let's run this. Let's run this.
okay.
Okay. The moment it sees break, it is just coming out of loop. That's it. Okay. Now, let's say my requirement is.
Ankit, I have a doubt here.
Mhm.
When you wrote print statement in line number 31, then only CSK is printed. But in the
Right.
last one, CSK and MI both were printed. So I
Yeah.
understand that, I mean, since this print is coming after break, so that is the reason CSK is printing, right?
Right. Right. The moment it sees break, it is just coming out of everything. It is not doing anything after that.
Okay, so I have a question that how do you decide the indentation of the print statement which is coming after break? Will it always be before, I mean, four spaces before break? Whenever the
It
print is
depends on
coming?
your requirement, right? If you want to, so the moment break is there, nothing will happen. Even if you write a print statement here, nothing is happening because it is breaking there and there only, right? So now where you want to print, it depends on your requirement. You want to run within if statement before break, or you want to run after if statement, or you want to run before if statement. There's no hard and fast rule. What you want, it depends on that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now similar to break, we have continue, which is the opposite exactly. So what it will do, it will just stop that, it will skip that iteration of loop. Okay. So break is just breaking the loop coming out, nothing is going to happen, right? But what it is doing, it is just continue. So the moment it's find mi and continue, it will just go there. It will not run any statement after that. Okay. So I'll run this and then explain. So if you see CSK and KKR are printed. Why? So for the first element, CSK will be assigned. It will check if it is equal to MI. No, it will print the team. Right? For the second iteration, what it will do again check. If it is MI, yes, then continue. Which means it will just go back to the next element. It is not going to do anything. It will just skip everything for that iteration only and move on to the next iteration. Okay, so if you see CSK and KKR are printed, only MI is not printed.
So Ankit, it means that using break it is just coming out of the loop, and using continue it is coming to the beginning of the loop. Is it so?
Not beginning. It is just skipping the current iteration.
Okay.
It is not going to beginning, right? After CSK, KKR is printed. We are not printing CSK again.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Ankit, this print statement is under for loop or it is outside of the for loop?
Yes, it is inside for loop. Still see, if I do this, then it is outside.
Hmm.
But there is an indentation, right? Then it is inside for loop. Outside if. It is outside if, but inside for.
Hmm. So you have mentioned that if we use this break statement, then immediately it will out of this loop, right? And
Break
and
statement.
for break and for continue, it will skip that particular iteration.
Iteration. Right. Right.
Ankit, can we write any program wherein we have 2 or 3 conditions just to understand the structure, like how exactly this indentation happens and how we have to place the lines in the program? I mean, any example wherein we can use 2, 3 conditions?
I think you would have done assignments. In that we have lot of things. Have you done the assignments?
Yes, I went through that, and that is the reason I got doubt actually.
Okay. So it is simple. It will come more with practice. But see, when you are starting a loop or any if condition, right? So you have to give indentation, right? It automatically comes like that in the ID. And as everything inside this is within the for loop, right? The moment you come out the for loop, just come out of the indentation, right? So if I write anything like here, print, it is out of for loop, right? Because it is parallel to for loop, there is no indentation. So this is out of for loop, right? Similarly, if a statement when I'm writing, again from if there is an indentation. So this is within if. The moment I come out of the indentation, if you see, it is outside if, but if you see from the for loop, it is inside for, right? It's fine. It will come with practice and we can discuss more later,
Okay, so
right?
if print is directly below this for, it means that that is out of for loop, right?
Right, right. It is out
And
of for loop.
and if it is just below the if statement, then it's under for loop, but out
Outside
of
if.
if.
Right, exactly. Now you are getting it.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine. It will come with practice. You do more questions, you will be comfortable with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So this is break and continue. We'll give some assignments so that you have some idea when to use it. But sometimes they are very, very useful. Okay. Now, similar to the for loop, right? We have a concept of list comprehension in Python. Okay. So what is list comprehension? So in list comprehension, you can, you know, you can create list with the minimum code, right? It is a kind of for loop only, but it is like you are writing less code and doing more. Okay. So let's take our example. So for example, we have this IPL, right? And what I want to do, I want to create another list which has the length of each elements of IPL list. So how I will do today? So IPL length, I will create empty, and let's take this again here. Okay. So today, if I have to do it with whatever I know, I will do this for team IPL. IPL length dot append length of team, right? So it will take the length of team and add it as an element in my IPL length list, right? So if I run this and IPL, so I have the length of each element of this list, right? CSK 3, 2, 3, like this. Now, if I have to do this with list comprehension, so with list comprehensions, we can create a list. Okay. So how I will create a list? I will say IPL and using comprehension equal to. So you have to give in square brackets. Okay. Little bit complex syntax, but I will try to make it easy. So what I want in this list. So this is going to create a list. So first I have to specify what I want in the list. I will say I want length of whatever. Okay, let's come to that later. But what loop I want to run? I want to run for team in IPL. Okay. And then I have to specify what I want. So I will say length of team. Okay. I'm saying create a list, right? The list name will be IPL length com, right? What I want in this list, I want length of team. And what is team? For team in IPL, right? It is just a for loop, but it comes in a single line, right? So if you see here also I have written for team in IPL, right? For team in IPL. Similarly, I have written for team in IPL. And instead of doing this IPL len dot append, I'm just directly giving the element what I want. And those elements will be part of this list, right? So let's run this and see. So if I check this now, you see, same list is created, right? It is exactly same, just it is you have to write less code, right? Now, let's say I want to put a condition, right? If the length of this is 2, I don't want to keep it in the list, right? I only want to keep everything else. So what I can do? So in this, I will say if length of team, right? Let's say I want to keep all the length which is greater than 2. And then I'm going to do this. So what it will do, it will iterate through the elements, right? It will check if the length is greater than 2, then only it will append, otherwise it will just escape, right? I run this and check IPL length. You see only 3 are printed, right? 2 is not there in the list. Why? Because of this condition. Because I only want to keep the elements whose length is greater than 2. Now, if I have to give a if condition as well in the list comprehension, I can give it. So I can say if same len of team greater than 2. Okay. So now just a recap. We can give 3 things in list comprehension. First is start with on what I want to run a loop, right? I want to run a loop on IPL, and then I'm taking this in a variable. Now, what list I want to create out of this list comprehension? The list of length of t. Okay. On top of it, if I want a if condition, I can put it here. If I run this again and print it, you will see 3 is there, right? So this code of how many lines? 4 lines. We have to declare this empty list and then append it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I am just able to do it 1 line. Right? This is all about list comprehensions. So
So
initially,
sorry to interrupt you. So this sequence also does matter, or we can put anywhere like this length.
no. This sequence matters. First element should be what you want, then the for loop, and then the if condition. You cannot change it.
Ankit, single space is working here, right? Single space is there. I mean, in this
Single
code.
space. Where?
Like in this particular code, len team space or space team, kind of that. Like there is no point of indentation, like keeping in mind of indentation.
Here in the line 45, you are saying?
Yes, yes.
There's no indentation here. It is just a space. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Single
Yeah.
space is
It is not tab, it is a single space. Yeah. Yeah. There's no indentation here. It is just a one line or everything is separated by a white space. That's it.
Ankit, a quick request. Actually, instead of overwriting the same code, just copy it to the next, like for our quick references in the notes. Like you are just
Yeah.
overwriting.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same
Mostly
code.
I'm just copy printing, but yeah. Okay, fine. I'll keep that in mind. So let's keep this without. Okay.
Elif, can we add here elif if elif else multiple conditions?
So what you are trying to do, we are trying to do is here is we are using it as a filter, right?
Yeah.
So I'm giving a condition. If that satisfies, then it will go,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is more kind of a condition, just a condition.
So there itself we can mention or and conditions, right? Instead of writing.
That you can mention. So
Okay.
it should return a Boolean value. So you can say or whatever you want or and anything you can put. The only thing is this should return a Boolean value. That's it.
Okay. So else we cannot put the rate else.
Yeah.
Elif and all.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So these are list comprehensions. Initially, you might find it difficult to use it. It is absolutely okay to use for loops, but as you work more on Python and if you want to write code fast, you can use it. It is absolutely fine. Okay. So this is our list comprehension. If you see the advanced users, they will be using a lot list comprehension instead of writing long for loops. It is a convenient way of writing things. It will create a list automatically.
Ankit,
Yeah.
can you use this code number line 46 for the dictionaries also?
So this is a list comprehension. There's a different way of creating this dictionaries. You can check it out on the internet, but mostly list comprehensions are used.
And one more thing, can you explain this one dictionary for starting? You have explained, right? For loop it dictionaries.
Yeah, right. You can loop over a dictionary or anything. It is not, so it will create a dictionary, but loop can be on dictionary or a list, anything. Okay. Only list comprehensions they are told because it creates a list in the output. So it is in square brackets, right? And the output will always be a list. But for the loop, you can use anything. You can use a string, dictionary, list, tuple, anything. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay, let's talk about error handling or exception handling. Okay, what is error handling and exception handling? So for example, you are running a program and you encountered some runtime error. So you are doing a equal to 1 divided by 0, right? So if I do this, it will give me error, right? It will give division by 0 is not possible. So it is giving me error and it will fail my program, right? So if I'm running this file, so let's say, let me comment everything else. Okay, so I will say print 1 and I will say print 2. Okay, so I print 1, then I'm doing a equal to 1 divided by 0, print 2. And if I run this program, what is going to happen? Let's see. So if you see, 1 is printed, right? Here, if you see, 1 is printed, and then there is an error, and my program crashes, stops everything, and nothing after that, right? So we said that Python is interpreted language. So it runs the first line, second line error, and third line is not printed. Why? Because there is an error, and it is all program is stopped immediately with that error, right? Now, many times in our application, we don't want that. We want that if some problem is happening, we want to take some action based on that, and then we want to continue the user journey, right? It should not happen that if there is some error and everything will, site will crash and it will not work, right? So for that, we have the concept of exception handling. In that, what we can do, if there is some error coming, we can catch it somewhere and take some action based on that. So our program will continue to run. There will not be any, fatal error or something, but we know that there is some exception has come and we can take some action based on that. Okay, so how to do it? So let's do it. So for that, we have to put our code in the try block. Okay, I will say try. And then whatever code I'm writing, whatever code you have written so far assignment, you can put everything in try, right? So let's put equal to 1. I am putting the without error for now. Equal to 1 divided by 2. And then I will say except, okay, exception as E, right? And I will say print E. Okay, so you can put all of your program, whatever program you write, in try block, and then you can put a except block, and this is the exception. So whatever exception is coming will go into this, and we are assigning it to a variable as E and then printing E. Okay, simple. So if I run this program now, and let's say print A, okay, it is running normally. So it will not go in the exception block at all. So let me print this is exception block. Okay, and let me run it again. So if you see, this is my program and 015 is printed, right? But this is not printed. This is exception block is not printed at all because it is not going here. There is no exception, so it is not going in this block at all, right? It will just do whatever is in the try and that's it. But if there is any exception, then it will come in the exception block. So let me write an exception 1 divided by 0. Now what will happen? In the try block, it will try to run the program. If there is any runtime exception, it will just go to this block and assign that exception to this variable E. And we can even print it. So let's run this now. So if you see, this is exception block, right? So there is a divide by 0 exception, right? So it is not able to print A first of all, because it will just break here. But since it sees there is a try and exception, it will go here and execute this, right? So if you see, this is exception block and it is also printing what is the exception. It is divide by 0, right? When we ran this, we got the similar error. So if I run this, only this piece, 0 division error, divide by 0. So same thing, same error, it is picking up and putting it to the E, right? So
Ankit, in real time, like it is like to keep every program inside this statement.
sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you come again?
So I'm asking like in real time, is it like that we keep every program inside this try statement?
Right, right. Ideally, you should put everything in the try and accept so that you are able to handle all the exceptions. Because many times, what you want to do, let's say there is an error, right? Based on that, you want to notify something, right? You can send an email in the exception block that this problem is there, so that person will be notified, right? So in ideally, you should always write all your code using try and accept.
Ankit, what if I write continue after that 1 divided by 0? Print 1, print 2.
Sorry, come again.
Above that. After a equal to 1 divided by 0, what if I write continue? Will it print 2?
It will not print anything. The moment it is there, it is not printing A, right?
No, above that. Print 1.
Above
Print 2.
will be done. It will be done. So print is try block,
No,
right?
Ankit, I'm talking about that print 1, print 2 that you have written. In between, after a equal to 1 divided by 0, what if I write continue? Yeah.
Continue will be only in loops.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
that is only
anywhere
for
else.
loops. Yeah. Continue will skip the current iteration. So it has to be in loop, either while loop or for loop.
Okay. Thanks.
So, Ankit, what do you suggest exactly? Do we use this for loop more frequently or this list comprehension? Because this break and continue will not support in list comprehensions, right? As you mentioned.
They can continue, should support. We can check out. I've not tried. Should support, I think. We'll have to see how to use them.
Okay.
Okay. But it is only a comfort level. It is nothing I would say you should use this or use that. Whatever you're comfortable with, you can use.
Okay.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah.
you have to write the exception statement at the end of our code or what?
Accept, right?
This exception handling statement is there, right? Code number 57.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to write at the end of the every our code or in between.
So you have to write full your code, try block, right? Maybe you can divide your code into 4 sections, and for every section you can do try except. It depends on your design of code. But you can put all of your code in the try block and then one except statement.
Okay. Suppose if we are using the 4 try blocks, means we have to use 4 exception handling.
Right. So this will end basically. If I write anything outside it, it is outside try except.
Okay. But that has to be come at the end of that block code.
Right. After try, you have to write immediate except.
So Ankit, if we have more than one error in the try block?
So what happens is, Python is an interpreted language. The moment it finds first error, it will break, right?
So means we have to structure our code accordingly. If we can expect any error more than one, then we have to put two try.
Right. You might have to put in different try creds. So you have to logically think where errors can come. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Because the moment error is there, it will come out of try block. It will not execute any other steps after this. So there is no point of 2 errors catching, right?
Ankit, is it try catch or try accept?
I mean, it is a try accept, but in Java actually it is try catch. So generally we are catching an error. You can think like that, but yeah, it is an exception. We are catching the exception basically.
Hey Ankit, how do we use this while writing production code? We put the pieces, the blocks of code which were not very sure about in these things, or like what is the general use case?
General use cases, you should put everything in try. Whatever code you are writing in Python, you should write in try block.
Okay.
Right. And then you have an accept block, and you can do whatever you want. Like I said, if you want to notify someone, right, that there is some error, you can write a code here to send email, and you can send the error as well using this E. That this is the problem and this is the exception. And that person can take some action based on that.
So, Ankit, when you say the entire code, does that include that import statements also within try or outside? I'm just asking.
So import statement will not, will not throw any error as such, right? So you have to put at a place where you can have some error. Otherwise, there is no point. Right? If you are assigning some value a equal to 1, there will not be any error in that. Right?
Right.
Okay. So,
User,
yeah.
Ankit, can you explain one more time? Try and accept.
Yeah, I'll explain it. I'll just cover few more things and then I will revise everything. Okay. So now, so this is one thing is it is like division by 0, right? So it is telling you the error. Let me put some error. So this we will learn later today that we can open the files, right? So for example, I can say a equal to open some file which is there in my system. Okay. So I will say some random file, random.txt. Now this file is not there in my system, right? So let's run this program. Okay. So we are getting no such file or directory, right? But there is no fatal error as such. We are just, this is a try block and this is an exception block and printy. That's it, right? So basically what I'm saying, this error will be based on whatever is the error. Accordingly, this will be printed using this E variable, right? So it will be clear that what is the exact error and you can take action. And your program is also not failed as such, right? We have smoothly handled it. Okay. So let's go back to 1 divided by 0 for now. Okay. So we have two more things here. We have a try, we have accept, and we have a else as well. Else print this is else block. Okay. So now what will happen? Between accept and else, one will be called always. If there is some exception, it will go in the exception block and it will skip the else block. Okay. If there is no exception, everything is fine in the try block and there is no exception, then it will go in the else block. Let's try it out. So if I run this, so this is try block, this is exception block, and this is the error, and it did not print else. So it did not go into the else block, right? Let me make it proper. So 1 divided by 2 I will do now. If you see, this is else block. So it did not go in the exception, right? There is no exception. Everything is fine here. It is just a divided by 2, print a. And then since exception was not called, this block was not called, it will go into the else. Okay, so let's say you want to again send, you were sending an email, right? So you can put an else block, right? If everything is fine, you can just send the email that it is all fine, there is no issue, right? So based on your whatever is required, you can put things in the else block. If everything is fine, then I want to do this, right? So between accept and else, always your code will go in either one of them. It will never go in both of them, right?
Ankit,
Then
but
fine.
we can write directly the print statement below in the try block itself, rather than writing it in else statement. If it is going to work.
Here you are saying?
Yeah.
No, but the possibility is you might have an exception after this, right?
I didn't understand.
So let's say you have 100 lines of code.
Yeah.
Your exception can come at any point of time, right?
Yes.
Right. So at any point it comes, it will go into the exception block.
Okay.
Right. So if it doesn't go, then it will go in else. I'll cover that. Also, there's one more actually. Finally, let's cover all four, then we can discuss. So what finally does is, this is, sorry. Now, what does this finally block does is, it will always run. It will always come in this finally block, right? So try block will always run. Okay. Then between accept and else, one will run. Either accept will run or else will run. And then finally is going to run always. So let's see first. How it's working. See, this is else block, this is finally block. So even though there is no error, right? It will go in the else block and it will go in the finally block as well. Now, if there is some error, then it will go in the exception and the finally. So it is always going to go into the finally block, no matter what, if there is any exception or not, you are going to have a finally block. Your code will always go into the finally block.
Again, what is the use case of else part? Like it can go in try block only, right? We can write the same thing in the try.
Okay, so it depends, right? So what you are trying to do in your code? Let's say you are developing a website. Okay, if there is some error, it will go into the exception block, right? If it is not going into the exception block, it means you want to take some action based on that. If everything works fine, then I want to run this else block, right?
No, if everything goes fine, then we can use it in the last statement of try block, right? That also work.
So you are saying in the last line we
Yes.
can print, right?
Yes. So that will also.
Okay, for this use case, yes, but I can think about more cases. I'll think about more cases where else will be required. Okay.
Multiple try if you write. So in that case, it could be useful, right? Else.
If I write multiple try,
Yeah.
then I will have to write everything, right? No, in the each
multiple
try, I can
exceptions
write
can be
print
given.
statement at the
Multiple
end,
try
right?
not recommended, but exception type you can give multiple times.
Yeah, exception type you can give, but else will be only once. Yeah, I'll think about it and let you know. Okay. But there will be
I
some
think
use
in
cases.
that case
For
it
that
can be
reason,
used
it
as
is
else.
created.
No, we'll not be getting any exceptions what we were expecting. So else part will say that no exceptions found in this code. Debugging
Yeah,
purpose
so-
it will be fine.
Yeah, but essentially what they're saying is we can put here also, right? Someone was saying that we can put as the last line of the try. If everything has done fine, then it will go till the last line and we can print there as well, right? If it breaks in between, it will not go to the last line and we can print in the last. But there will be other use cases. We'll figure out. Okay, but there are 4 blocks basically in the try, accept, else is between accept and else, and finally will always run. Okay, the usage, how we use this, any doubt?
Ankit, can we give multiple exceptions here, because that exception that you've given is as a generalized exception, right? So any error that comes, it will go in that exception block. So suppose we want to describe our code, like if it is divided by 0, it is one exception, or it is
Yeah,
file not found,
we
one
can give.
exception. How can
So
we
we can
that?
give. So yeah, we can give. So there are different exception types like divide by 0 or something, like file not found, or there are hundreds of exception. You can give specifically that one. Okay. So if I quickly go here, Python exception types, built-in exceptions are there. So we have all this assertion error, attribute error. So we can directly give this. Okay. Or let's say divide by 0 will be there somewhere. 0 division error, right?
So, Ankit, do we have arithmetic exception, null pointer exception here also, like Java?
Yeah. Yeah. We will have most of the exceptions that you have in Java here also.
Okay.
Okay, so you can check on the built-in exceptions in the Python and you can use those. If you want to specifically catch some exception, you can give the exception name and it will just pick that one.
Okay. One more thing, Ankit, like, what is the logical difference between else and finally?
Between is an?
Else and finally.
Yeah, else will be like only if this exception is not there, then else will run. Finally will always run. Irrespective of anything, finally is going to run always.
So you mean even if else is successful, like the code is going to else, I mean, it is going inside else, and after that also finally will run, right?
Right. Finally will always run. No matter what, finally will always run.
Okay.
So then if that is the case, whatever the code, if you want to keep in final, we can also keep that in else, right? No, doesn't not make sense.
No, else. So even if exception is there and you want to run something, then you will put in finally, right? If you put in else, then it will only run if exception is not there. Right? So you want to run something irrespective of exception is there or not. Then it will go in finally.
Okay.
User defined exception can we write here? Means apart from the one which I mentioned.
Yeah, you can design exception and you use those, right? You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. Yeah.
Ankit, can you write multiple try statements here? Just for the sake of understanding.
So you can write one more try else block, right? So you write some part of code, okay, and logically you divide your code maybe in 4 things or something. So you can write this and then you can again write everything.
Ankit, can we have one try and multiple try and one accept? This will work. Will this work?
But how it is going to help you?
I mean, number of lines in code will be less. I mean, for example,
No,
if we
if
have
you have one exception, then write in one try. What is the point of doing multiple try and one exception, right? You can write in one try only everything.
Nested try, I think is talking about.
yeah, I
Nested
mean,
try.
no, not nested try. For example, if for example I am thinking, I mean, at the time of writing the code, I'm thinking I might get the error at this point, but there are some times that I might not get the error exception into the particular line, but I might have get the exception in different line. So in that case, can we do that?
I'm not. So you are saying, so we have, let's say, 2 lines of code. One is a equal to 1 by 0, and another is 1 divided by 2. Right? This
Yeah.
will be an error and this will not be any error. Okay.
For example, if I mean there can be chances. So for example, if we are taking a file from a particular location, right? And there can be a situation where the file cannot be a present in folder, or sometimes can be can present in a folder.
Right.
So in that case, I'll write try. Okay. And after that,
can you guys go on mute, everyone? Yeah.
So while taking this, this file line, after that I'll put one try. Okay, if this file will not be able, if it will give exception, it should catch. But after that, there can be a situation that this try will work. I mean, I can have the file, and there might be another exception after doing the code. At that time, should I use the next try, or should I keep the first try which I have write it before my file path, and then this accept will work?
So you can do in the same try, right? What is the, so you are opening a file here, right? Open.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I just got it. Yeah, I can write same try. I mean, I can use same try, and then if it will
multiple
be
lines of code, wherever
yeah,
error is
right,
there, it will accept. Yeah.
Right. Got it.
Okay, so this is our try and accept.
One final question. So in the
One
try
second,
block,
someone has to go on mute. There's some train voices coming. Let me put mute. Okay, now it is fine. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, so in the main code, we'll keep it in the try block, right? So whenever
Yeah.
the code is working in try block, and if there is an
Right.
exception, so you will
Right.
handle that exception, handling the exception, you will do it between the 71 to 73, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So if there is exception, you will handle between 71 to 73. If there is no exception, you will handle it in the else spot, right?
Right.
So then
You're
I'm
right.
still not understanding the finally block here.
So finally is like, so you don't know. There can be exception in your code and there cannot be exception, right?
Okay.
You don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
If that is the case, I'll put an else block, right?
Right, that's what.
Finally, can be used in the case of to closing any file, any database connection and anything. So that can be written in finally block.
Right. So let's say you opened a database connection here, right?
Okay.
Now you don't know that exception will come or not come, right? Maybe in this line exception is coming. If exception is coming, right? Maybe you have to write that code in both the places, except and else, right? Because if exception is coming, then also you want to close this, and if it is not coming, then also you want to close it, right? If you put in else, right, and if some exception is there, then your database connection will never be closed, right? So finally, you want to run irrespective of exception is coming or not. Except and else will be called only once, right? Either if exception is there, then it will be here. If exception is not here, it will be there. But irrespective of exception is there or not, you want to run something, then it will be in finally. Right? I'll share the more use cases of it. Okay.
So Ankit, one doubt. This is regarding the dictionary that we discussed in the beginning, right? Can you scroll up where we discussed about only one key and one value? So what happens if we have multiple key and values?
We ran the loop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the doubt? Sorry, I'm not getting the doubt.
Yeah. So if you are running the loop, how can we get the second key and values?
That's what loop is running, right? It will go one by one.
Okay. Okay. The team will take all the key values. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And one more thing, like when we discussed about the list comprehension, we can only pass the where condition, right? We can't add any else or else, right?
Yeah, if it is basically to filter the data. Here we are using if to filter the data. Yeah.
Okay, if you want to go with some else and all, then we have to go with the proper for loop. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Ankit, even I have a doubt in the dictionary for loop. Could you please?
Dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as he was asking before, like even if we have a one key and the different value of that particular key, for example, name, date of birth, then how we are going to, take it with that same variable name that like here you put the font team name in IPL dot items. So line number 16.
Okay.
So print team and then name. So what
Right.
if we have the date of birth also in that?
No, so this is key value. Okay, so in your dictionary, there will be one key, one value, right? Date of birth, where you will put. So there is one key and one value of this key. That's it.
So for
Now this is my dictionary.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. If let's say this is your another dictionary, then you can further loop on top of it. Or if it is a list, once you get into the loop, you can write further loops, right? But here, in general, key dictionary is a key value pair. So you pass the key, you get the value. That's it. You pass the key, you get the value.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ankit, one quick question. So this key value pair, in the value there can be another data type, right? So it will be copied to the new variable. And we are
Another
executing
data
it.
type of value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Value can be anything. It can be list or another dictionary, anything.
When we are calling it in the for loop, then it will be assigned to that particular key value pair.
Yes. So it will be assigned to name. Now name can be anything again. In this case, it is a string, but it can be a dictionary or a list or anything.
Ankit, in some examples, I have seen either star or underscore in the place of variable name. Can you explain that from?
Sorry, your voice is breaking. I don't know if it is for me only or everyone. I'm not
Okay.
able to hear you.
Okay.
Now it is better.
I will select type it. In some in some examples, I have seen instead of that variable name, they have used a star or underscore.
We can't use star and underscore, you are saying.
No, they have used a star or underscore. Say instead of that variable name. Did you come across?
We can take in doubt session. I'm not able to understand. Sorry. Okay, we'll take in the doubt session. Okay. Yeah. All your personal doubts we can take in the doubt session over the weekend. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. So this is all about try and accept. Okay. So in generally, we should put all our code in the try block and do the exception. This is optional. Else and finally, if you have some use cases, you can use it. In general, we use try and accept. Try, and if there is some exception, I want to just put it in the accept block and handle it. Okay, great.
Hello, Ankit. Sorry for interrupt. Yeah, actually, what is the basic use of that exception handling? Because whenever without exception handling, also we are getting error, right?
Right. So our program is failing, right? So if I do print right, and there is something here. So basically, our program is failing with a fatal error, but with the exception, there is no fatal error, right? So the moment this is happening, you can't do anything else, right? If try exception is not there, the moment it finds 1 divided by 0, you can't do anything after that, right? Everything will fall off, right? But if you have exception block, you can do something, right? If there is some exception, I want to do certain steps so that I can mitigate this issue. So that's where exception come into picture, right? Otherwise, you can't do anything. The moment it sees this error and it stops your program, that's it.
Okay, got it. And you shown that Python exceptions, right, on website. So how can we use that standard
You
exceptions?
can give here. I have just given general exception, but you can give the name of the exception here.
Okay.
You just give that name and then it will pick that, it will catch that exception only. You can try it out. Okay.
And catch block is not there, right?
No, else is just else. There is no exception here. If it is,
No.
doesn't
In the
go,
general other language, we have catch block is there, right? Catch block.
no, catch is not there. It is accept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
In that
Now
case, Ankit, so what if we don't know that what will be the exception? So which exception will we use?
So what code you are writing, you can see what all exceptions are possible. If you are not sure, then use the general class exception and it will catch everything.
Oh.
Whatever exception is coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Ankit, what is the difference between error and exception?
Difference between?
Error and exception. Like
it is same thing. It is just we are catching the exception in the error. So this is an error. And that exception or error we are catching here. It is same thing. Error and exception is same thing.
when error gets handled, it is called exception.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say that.
Ankit, can we use try with finally or except should be there mandatory?
Let's try out quickly.
Like if,
no,
if
it is
you use,
giving error.
okay, like reason is like, so whatever we are doing in the try, right? If something goes wrong, it is handled in exception and it will not throw any error, right? It's
Right.
taken care in the exception.
Right.
And finally, we are closing the connections and clean up things. The problem is
Right.
like, so if you are using any ETL tools like Matillion or somewhere, I am using Python component, okay? So in the Python component, I am configuring at the component level. If something goes wrong on the component failure, then I have to send the notification through some AWS SNS service. So if something is handled in exception, so we will not send any notification, right?
Right. Right. It's all logical, your program, what you want. So in exception, if you are able to handle anything, you don't want to send email, it is absolutely fine. But if you think you have not, handled things, someone should have to taken care of it, you can send notification, right? It all depends what
Yeah,
code we are
basically,
writing.
if something is handled in exception, it will not fail.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah,
The program is not going to fail with try and accept. It will always finish successfully, your program.
Okay, got it.
Okay, great. Great. You guys can try it out, different combination, different exceptions, and then we can discuss later. Okay. Great. Okay, let's move on to the next topic, the last topic for today. And tomorrow we are going to start functions. But let's understand how to work with files. Okay, it is important. So what we are going to do, just to give some idea, we are going to discuss the file handling today, how to work with files. Then tomorrow we will work with functions, and then after that tomorrow we will also work. Will see, not tomorrow, I mean Thursday. We will understand what are class and objects. Okay, and that point you will understand that what I keep talking about, that this is an object of class string, this is an object of class list. Like those questions will be answered answered. And then we will see some of the module. Again, once we learn this, we will understand what are the modules. Okay. We will learn some basic OS and datetime modules, and then we will have a project. Okay. I will give a project where all these things, most of the things will be used. And then we will move on to the NumPy pandas analytics part of the Python. Okay. So let's start with the file handling today. How to read file. Okay. While working with files, maybe with files. Okay, so let's say you have a file in your system and you want to read it or write it or whatever you want to do, right? So let me go to this folder. And then we have this, and I'm going to create a file here. So let's create a file. File. Okay, so this is my file. Let's say I'm putting something 1, comma, okay, 2, comma, let's put age as value. Okay, so this is my file. Let's save it on the same location. You can put it anywhere actually. So I'm just putting it here. Okay, and I will give test.txt. Okay, so this is my file now. So if I go here, we have a test.txt, right? So this is the file content. Now, if I want to read it in Python, we have this open statement. So I will say f equal to open. Now my script and file is in the same path, so I don't have to give path. If it is in a different path, you can give your path. For example, C colon or whatever, right? You can pass the path, but if your Python file and the file that you are reading are on the same path, you can just give test.txt. Okay. Now, once you give test.txt, you can open this file in a different modes, right? You can open this file in the read mode, write mode, or there are different modes we will discuss. But let's open this in the read mode. Okay, so I want to just read the file. Okay, so first parameter is file name. And then I'm saying I want to open this file in the read mode. So when you open in the read mode, you can just read it. You cannot write anything. Okay, so let's run this program now. So if you see f is done. Now if I want to read it, I will say f dot read. Okay, so if I just run this, it will just print the my data, right? One Ankit, and this is a new line operator, right? New line character, and two Rahul and three Mahesh, right? And there was a new line character at the end as well. So I put the if you see there is a new line after this, so that is also it is showing at the end. There is a new line character. Sorry, right? So this is how you read the full file. Now, what if you want to read line by line, right? We'll come to it. Okay. What I will say, once I have this f created, I can just run a for loop. I will say for line in f. Print line, right? It is similar to the, let's say we were running a loop on the list, it will pick one element one by one and print it, right? Similarly, if it is a file, we can read line by line. So I will just comment it and run this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if you see, everything is printed here. Let me.
Ankit, is line a
One
default
Ankit.
keyword or we can use any line?
Sorry?
Is line a default keyword or we can
No,
pick
no,
any
no. You can use anything. Anything you can use. Just like loop. Yeah.
Ankit, can we use split over here to for that
Yes,
comma?
we can do everything. So once we have this you can do a split and then convert it into a list. You can do everything. Okay. Now, once this is done, you have to make sure you close the file. If you don't close the file, the system will keep it open and it will, occupy all the resources. You have to do f dot close. Okay. So if I do this, it is closed, right? So file is closed. There is a function to check if a file is closed or open. So you can say f dot closed. So it will tell you if a file is closed or open. So if it is closed, it is returning true, right? If it is open, it will return you false. So let me run this again. Okay. And I'm going to f dot closed again. And it is returning false. Why? Because file is not closed. So make sure you have to close the file. Right? And now it will return true. Okay. So whenever you're using this open, you have to make sure there is a close. Okay. Now, if you want to read a full file, you can just say f dot read. If you want to run line by line, you want to read line by line, you want to do some operations, whatever. It is a string, right? You can convert it into a list or dictionary or whatever you want to do, you can do within a for loop. But you can basically read line by line. Okay. So this is running you line by line.
But Ankit, here one extra line is coming, right? In between two lines.
Yeah, that it is printing. So what happens? The print statement by default insert a new line, right? So there's a new line already here, and print statement also does a new line by default. So that's why you are seeing two lines. I mean, there is an empty line basically in between because print statement by default prints a new line character as well, which is fine. This is just for printing, right? There is no
Yeah,
issue in that.
but it's wrong, na? If we have to if we want to create one file and we have to send that file to different downstream, so it will be
Right.
they are getting error, right? Extra lines are there.
No, so you won't print it, right? It is just for print. You will write to another file. That time new line will not come, right? If you want to create another file, you will directly write it into that file. You are not going to print, right? It is just when you are printing on the console, it is new line is coming. That's it. But if you write it this line to another file, it is fine.
Can you show that?
Yeah, I'll show it. We'll show it. Okay. Let's go to the write mode. So this is my read mode. In read mode, we learn two things, that I can read it full file, or if I want to read one by one, I can do it. Okay. Now in this approach, one thing is, if you have opened the file, you have to close it as well, right? So there is another approach of doing it. You can say with open, let's put this. App.read. Okay. So if I run this now, okay, I have to print it. Okay, so if you see, everything is printed now. This is f.read, and if I see f.close, if you see f.close is true, right? So I have not separately closed it. With this syntax, it will automatically open and close it. Okay, so anyone is fine, not an issue. But only thing is, with this one where you are opening separately, you have to close it. And if you are using this syntax with open this as f, then you can just do whatever you want to do. You don't have to separately close it. That is the only difference between these two things. Okay, and then here again you can write a loop. So for example, I can say for line in f then line. Okay, so I'm going to run this again. So it is fine, right? It is printing everything.
Ankit, just one thing, like in SQL, if we have to introduce column names like ID, name, and age, so can we do that over here?
ID name, I didn't get it.
Like ID is 1, 2, 3, name is Ankit, Rahul, Mahesh, and age is 35, 35, 45. On top of
Right.
that, can we put that?
Okay, header you are saying.
Yeah, header, sorry.
Yeah, header you can print. So in this approach, header will be just another line, right? So header is first line, then this is second, third, fourth. It is just how you handle it in your code. For Python, it is just another line, right?
Yeah, so from the file, the headers are not coming. So can we introduce in the code itself is what I'm asking.
So header, so you can create another file which has header and these lines, right? You can do that. Or you can assign these values to some other variable. Like you can pick one by one in each line, you can convert it into a list or dictionary, and in different variables, you can put it.
Okay, thank you.
Can we use f.readlines?
Sorry?
Can we use f.readlines instead of using for loop?
Read lines, you are saying. Okay. Let's run this. So it is correct, creating a listener, list basically.
So
Read
Ankit,
lines. Yeah.
previously the print question I think someone asked. So the results were coming after one space, but when we have written with open and print statement, that time there were no spaces in between the line. So why those two different results and print statement means with
It is coming. It is coming here also. See.
Yeah, if you scroll up, I think that time it won't come. Yeah, now you
That
have
was we read the full file instead of for loop.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the general use case of a with statement?
It is same. I'm saying it is same. It is just it will just automatically open and close. And if you are using open directly, you have to close it. That is the only difference.
That I get, but generally, what is with used for? Is it just used for files, or does it?
Yeah, here it is just used for files. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So what is
Now,
this
this is
concept
our.
called? I think there is a concept around this one within one of the interview was asked. I'm trying to recall the concept. name of the concept it is.
Yeah, we can discuss later. That is fine. Okay, you can
Ankit, what do you suggest? Which function should we use like this? We start with
Anything.
or directly open?
Anything is fine. Both are fine. Both are absolutely fine. Just you have to make sure you close the file. That is the only thing. Okay.
Out here.
There is no preference as such that you should use this or use that.
Ankit, I have a doubt here.
So performance wise also both are same, right? I mean to say that the resource consumption the
yeah, there is no issue with the performance
optimization. Okay.
Okay, let me cover in 5 minutes the 2 more modes, and then I will take doubt so that other people can leave after today's session. Okay. So let's open the file in the write mode. So I'll just copy this again.
It's called context manager.
And let's put write mode. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm saying open this file in the write mode. Okay. And then I'm going to press Control Enter, and then I will say f.write, and I will say this is first line in write mode. And if I do this, it is done. And I go back to the file. Okay, I have not closed the file, right? So f.close. Okay, now if I go back here, open it, see, it is overwrite the existing content. So when I open the file in the write mode, the W, it will overwrite all the content. So whatever content is there, after that, if I keep writing, it will just overwrite it. So let me put one more write here. Okay, and mode 1, right, Control Enter. So you see, this is mode 1. So every time I write something, it will just overwrite the file. Whatever content is there, it will just keep overwriting it, right? Now, what if I want to append, right? So if I want to append, we have a append mode. I will say, let me take one more. I will say A, append mode. Okay. So I'll say this is my first line. This is my first line in write mode 1. Okay. And let's run this. Okay, so this has run, and let's see our file now. See, everything is appended. So we are not putting any, any new line characters. So let's put a new line character here. So I'll say /n, and again do this. So whatever is there, it will keep appending, right? So I go back again. You see, something is created in the. Let me remove everything and show you again. Close it and run the program. Okay, and go back. See, so this is my first line, that this is first line in write mode. And if I go back to the program, after that, I am putting a new line character. So a new line character is gone, and then this line is printed, right? And then this line is printed. And I'm not overwriting it. Why? Because this is now in append mode, right? If I do in write mode, it will, every time it will just overwrite. And if you want to just continue, append, keep appending, just open it in the append mode. Okay, again.
So can you show me one more time with the write mode by keeping the file empty?
So this one, should I run this now?
Uh-huh.
I'll just close it and it will just overwrite. Let me put one statement only here. Okay. See, only one line.
Okay.
It is in write mode because. So there are 3 main modes: read, write, and append. Okay. There are some few other modes where you can read, write both R plus. You can check it. There are 2-3 more modes. You can check it out. But mainly there are 3 modes: read, write, and append.
Can you add one more line in writing?
Ankit, we have not specified the path for the file.
We can give the path. So that's what I explained initially. If your file, the Python file and your text file are on the same location, you can just give this. If it is on a different location, you can just put C drive or whatever, wherever it is. You can just put that path.
So this
can
is
just-
in default location. See.
Not default location. It is the location where your Python file is there.
Okay.
So wherever your Python file is stored, here our Python file is there, right? And here only my file is there. So I don't have to give the path. But if it is a different path, you can give the path as well here.
Okay, understood.
Ankit, I have one more doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose my file is in SharePoint.
Where it is?
SharePoint.
Okay.
But that one has a credentials. So we have to pass the credentials, right?
Right. You have to do some authentication, SharePoint authentication, and then use it.
Then how we have to pass in this one program Python? Like we have to create one variable like that.
No. You can create Azure Key Vault and you can get the secrets from there.
That value have to store it in some variable, right? Then only it will take it, right? Python. SSC.
Right.
No, there is a concept called Key Vault. Okay, in Key Vault, we will give the username over there, and automatically the Key Vault will generate a password for you, and that password you can use it here. Generally, that to be in variable. I don't think. Yeah, you can keep it in variable as well, but it should be a secret kind of a thing. So we use that, but yeah.
You can explore that. You can now you know the basic syntax. You can explore other things, right? And then in the doubt session, we can discuss if there is anything. Okay.
Ankit, when we are reading files here, like suppose there is a CSV file or something, like what is, I mean, in general in Python, where do we store this once we read the files? Like how do we manipulate them? Like is there a, do we put them in lists or do we do something else? Like where do we store in general and how do we manipulate? Yeah.
Okay, for everyone else, we are done with today's topic. So if you want to drop off, you can drop off. I will take the doubts from here. Okay, so you are saying, what do we do after reading the file, right?
Yeah. Where do we store it and how do we interact with it? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to write something, then it is there. You are writing, right? Now, if you are reading, right? Now, once you read the file, it depends on what kind of data it has. If it is a CSV, right? Or if it is some, space delimited or anything. If you want to convert it in the list, you can convert it into list and play with it, right? Or let's say it is a plain text and you want to do some regular expression thing. You can write some regular expression and take out some information if you are expecting, right? So again, what you want with that, right? If you want to load into some database, then we will see when there are other ways of reading the files using pandas. So we can load into a database. So it depends what you want to do. Accordingly, we can do within the after reading the line by line, right?
Yeah. So here we will store it in some list probably, and then individual row wise we can take. So is there a limit on how many elements can go? Suppose my file is big and I mean, will it cause any out of memory or something when we store in some list directly, or do we like divide it, or how is it?
So if you are running line by line, right, it will convert it into list maybe, right? You will convert it into list and then it will run for loop, right? So it will go one line at a time. So there should not be any issue with the file size. If you are reading whole file at once, then if your file is very big, let's say 10 GB or something, then you might face issues. But then what is the point, right, of opening full file at once?
Yeah.
Right. But generally, the big files will be structured files, mostly CSV file or JSON files, and there are some more advanced way of reading those files. Right, this is a very basic way of working with files. But we will see
I think this is meant for small files, like if we have already selected our data and then do something, or if we can write directly probably. But I think what you're saying, like if we, I mean, I think big files directly go in database table or something.
Right. Also, if you have the unstructured data, then you have to do this. If you have proper comma separated JSON files, we have other ways of doing it. But let's say you have some text file, generally some customer reviews are written. you want to pick some words. Let's say there's some, reviews of Namaste SQL codes, and I want to do some, NLP, or I want to do some kind of regular expression or text analytics. Then maybe I will read the line. I can't read it as a CSV, and then it will be helpful.
Yeah. How do we do regular expression here, Ankit?
So this is, each line is coming in the this line, right?
Yeah.
So this is a string now, right? Now you can run regular expression on a string variable, right?
So here each line that we are getting is a comma separated one, and then from that again we have to put it in some list, like you showed in some list one, like what was that, strip, or
Yeah.
what was
So
that?
this is as a
Yeah.
string, right? If you see so what is the first line? Let's say the first line is 1 comma Ankit. Okay. Second line is 2 comma Rahul. So for the first time, when I'm running the for loop, in the line variable, 1 comma Ankit will go, right?
Yeah.
So your line variable will be this, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Now what you can do, you can use split function, right? And convert it into a list.
Yeah.
And append it to a list, right? And then second value also list, right? Like that you can go on. And you will have a list of all the lines.
Will it not create complexity? Like we're having a lot of lists for, we're having a list for each
No,
line.
there is only one list. You will just keep appending it to a list.
Acha. Yeah. Okay.
Right? It will be a kind of list of lists.
List of list. Okay. Okay.
And then you can run a loop, or whatever you want to do, some list operations, you can do it. Or there's one function, read lines, right? That will directly convert it into a list. Instead of read, we have the read lines. Yeah.
You just execute.
Yeah. App dot read lines. So if I do this, so, and then I say print app dot read lines.
I think you already closed it. That's not it.
Yeah, because it's closed.
Okay, I have to open in the read mode. I think I opened it into some other mode.
Append mode or something.
Yeah, let me do close first. And then open it in the read mode. Yeah. Okay. Now if I do read lines, see, this is a list. If there is only one line, if there are multiple lines, it will be multiple elements of list. Okay, so there are multiple operations you can do. You can explore other methods as well.
The read line seems better because directly it's going in list. Yeah.
Yeah. You have a lot of other options: close, read line. You can just explore all of this. So again, in Python, there are hundreds of methods for each object type, right? So you should know the basics in the session, and then you explore. That's the way. I cannot go to each method and tell, right?
Hey, Ankit,
Yeah.
just one quick question. Suppose we have a file of more than, 100 lines or 200 lines, and I just want to go for to go to a particular line. So is there any way? Because, the same question was asked by when I was in college by an Amazon interview, actually. So I failed to answer that.
So you can just do read lines. What it will do, it will convert it into a list, right? Let me put one more line here. Line 1, line 2.
So the index of line will be equal to the line number, right? Like that.
Right. From 0, it will start again. So let me do close again. And then let me take it. So I'm going to open this in the read mode. And then again, later close. Okay. So if you see, this is your file created, and then I will create another variable f.list equal to f.read lines. Okay. So enter. Now if you see f_list, this is a list, right? First variable, first value, second value, third value. If you directly want to go to third value, you can say f underscore list and then index 2, right? Index it,
Okay.
right? So you can directly convert it into a list. List will be, each element will be one line, first element, second element of list, and go on, right? And then make sure you close it.
Got it. Thank you.
Right now we are working on TXT file. We'll be working on Parquet or ORC file also.
So Parquet and ORC will be a different way of doing it because it is not human readable, right?
Yes.
So we will see using pandas how we can read different kinds of file, not just that text file, CSV file, Excel file, and then JSON files. All of those options are there.
Okay. Got it.
Are you going to handle any structured, unstructured data handling here?
Yeah, so this is unstructured data, right? This is some text you are written, right? This is not structured. Structured data is something comma separated or JSON file. Those are structured data, Excel. This is unstructured data, right? So this line is there. Now, whatever you want to do with this line, you can do. Let's example, I told you, it can be a review, right? A review of a course or a product. Now I want to do some sentimental analysis. I want to see which keywords are there, if it is good or bad. I can do it. This is unstructured data.
Yeah. No, my question is more like, for example, I'm getting unstructured data. I mean, how do I interpret it as a like pandas data frame and then assign a schema and all the stuff is what I'm asking.
Pandas, you have to have some structured data. You cannot read unstructured data in pandas. I mean, everything will come in one column. Then if you want to, you can do something, you can do. But in general, pandas is used to read the structured data only.
Hi, Ankit. The project problem statement will be given by you, or we want to choose it ourselves?
No. I will give problem statement.
Okay. Thank you.
I will explain in the session and then I will give a note in the notepad also. I will put the problem statement.
Yeah, Ankit, like whatever the topics that you're covering, can you also provide some documentation along so that
I have provided already. If you go to the code.
I have seen that. So I just am asking, like we can continue like this, like for files there will be a lot, and then for list.
Right. Whatever I'm teaching, what you can do is just search that topic or go to the index of the book, the PDF book, and read about it in the detail.
Ankit, I have one more thought.
Ankit,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, Ankit. On top of that previous question, here we know the index of that the third line, right? Line 3. So if we have multiple lines are there in our list, like 1000 line. So how can we know the index of that?
We have the index function, right? So how you want to search? You want to search some keyword or something, right? So once it is a list, you can do all the list operations, right? You can find what is the index of line 3 or substring, indexing, slicing, everything you can do, right? Whatever we learned in the list, everything can be done now. F list is a list. Now do whatever we learned in the list.
Okay.
Right?
By using index function, we can know. Okay.
Yes.
Ankit, I have a doubt. For that, I'll have to share my screen.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah, Abhishek?
Yeah.
Okay. You can share your screen now.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's regarding the assignment that you had given actually for reversing the string.
So okay. I'll take this, but in general, any assignment related, we will have a doubt session on the weekend.
Okay.
If you have any doubts related to today's session, we can take it up.
Hi, Ankit.
Okay. I have doubt related to the concept actually, which is used here. So if you want, I mean
So
I have
generally, when we are doing string slicing, we give two values, right?
Yeah.
Start and end, right? That's what we
here,
learned.
Yeah. So here both are not given. So it will start from 0 and it will cover the entire list, right? Entire string.
Right. And the third one is step. So if you give 2, So it will give first element 0 and then it will skip 2. It will then give 3 and then 5 and then 7 and then 9 like that.
Correct. So what I understood, I mean, what I tried, it's like hello is there. So if it's traversing from left to right, so this 0 will become -1.
No, so it is reverse you are doing. So it will start from end. You are doing -1. So you want to go back. So it will start from end.
Okay, so
It
this
will print O, then L, then L, then E, then H.
Okay. O
Because you
L
are
L.
doing reverse -1. If you give 1, it will start from the start. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You are doing palindrome.
So is it, I mean, if let's say if -1 step is given, is it not adding up or deducting from the index value that is there? I mean, for calculating, I mean, let's say this is -1. So -1 is -2. So
Right.
it will go to -2 position.
Right. And then again -1, it will go to -3, then -4, then -5.
Yeah. So that way, I mean, this positive index, we don't have to consider if -1 is the step size.
The moment you give -1, it will start from the reverse because you are doing do a reverse step. If you give 2, right, it means go forward 2, right? If you give negative, you are saying go back. So it will start from the end.
So this -1, that will be the starting point,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Starting and ending will be from the first and second colon, and the -1, the last one, what you have given is the step.
Okay. So this L, the index of L is -2.
Right.
So it has to be at -3.
Why it has to be at -3?
Because current position is -2, and if step size is -1, so going back, is it going to be at -3?
Not going back, you are just traversing. So you are saying, so what does slicing do? Slicing will, let's take simple example, right? Slicing says from this point till this point, right? So you say, let's go from 3 to 5, 3 to 10. Let's say simple example. Okay. 3 to 10. So it will print everything between 3 to 10, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you say, give me, print the element with a step size of 2. So it will print 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yes.
It is not shifting anything. It is just printing after the, it is skipping that numbers in between and printing. It is not shifting anything in the list.
Yeah. So that positive indexing, I mean, that is clear. For negative one, actually, I'm
That's
getting
fine. You can try again and we can discuss later. But it is straightforward. The moment you give negative, it will start from the end. That's it. And then minus. If you do -2, it will start from -1 and then -3 and then -5. Right?
Okay. And
Because
one
you
more
are saying that skip size should be -2.
If let's say if in this expression, if I'm giving starting point also as -1, then also the output is the same.
Yeah, because you want to start from -1. If you don't give anything, then it is by default starting from -1.
I mean, it should not start from 0.
It is start from 0, but because step size you have given negative, it is starting from end. Otherwise, if it starts from 0 and you give negative, nothing will come, right?
Yeah. So for 0 also, it's starting from left. I mean, from the last point, that is the right, and -1. And for -1 also, it's starting from there only. It's not going to -2 and starting from there.
Why it will go to -2? I'm not getting that. Why it will go to -2?
I mean, I'm just doing a simple addition, like -1 is the position at the starting point I'm giving, and then this step size is -1.
Abhishek, just don't go into addition or subtraction. It's just the index values. It is just the index values. -1 is just the index value.
Yeah, so -1 will always be the last one.
-1, yes, -1 is last, -2 is the second last, and so on. Don't get into the addition or subtraction. It's just the minus value is to just fetch the last value, last index value.
Okay. Okay.
That's fine. You can explore more and we can discuss again later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Just spend some time. Okay.
Yeah.